Hey, what's up? It's me, JDS 4696, and today I'm going to be giving a film review for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. And this is the fifth film in the Mission Impossible series, which was adapted from the TV series of the same name, Mission Impossible. And again, it stars Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt. Now, this fifth film in the series, it is again directed by Christopher McQuarrie. I think that's how you pronounce his name, because he also directed Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher. And at the same time he also directed this film, which features Tom Cruise. So this is like another film that he has directed that stars Tom Cruise in it. Yeah, but you have Tom Cruise returning as the IMF agent Ethan Hunt. And this time he is on the run from the U.S. government as he tries to prove the existence of like this secret society known as the Syndicate, and they are international criminal consortium. So basically, he's trying to prove that this thing known as this society known as the Syndicate exists. So that's basically what the film is about. It turns out that that there really is like a such thing as the crime syndicate that he's trying to prove existence in the film. It's just like your typical like other Mission Impossible films with like lots of like espionage type action and like spy type like action and stuff. No, I enjoyed it. I thought this was a decent film in the Mission Impossible series. I enjoyed it. Now, when it got kind of towards the end of the film, it kind of started kind of like slowing down, and then it was kind of dragging. And then at that point, I really didn't, I wasn't really enjoying it more. But as a whole, I would consider this like a good film. I enjoyed it. I still think the previous one, Ghost Protocol, was actually better than this film. But I still enjoyed it though. Like also in this film, you have like Ving Rhames, he returns. You have Jeremy Renner, they return. From Ving Rhames has always been in the Mission Impossible film series. He has always been in it because I know he was like on the first one. Yeah, he returns as Luther Stickel. That was his name, Luther. Yeah, Luther, and he has always been in the film series, so he's there again in this one. And it's like he has a kind of I guess it's about on par as like kind of other roles was, because it's been a while since I had watched them. But like he has like a lot of screen time in this film. You have a new like love interest that's like with Tom Cruise, where with Ethan Hunt, and her name is Ilsa Falls. I think it's how you say her name, Ilsa or Ilsa Falls, and she's like a kind of like like a spy or something like that, and she's played by Rebecca Ferguson. And I thought her role was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool because they kind of give you like little hints, that you can kind of trust her, and at the same time you really couldn't trust. Like typical like type spy type films like that. Where you can't always trust like the woman. Even sometimes it's like the man too. You can't really like trust them, but at the same time they really were like a good person. And they were on their side. Well, the film it opens with like Tom Cruise, like he's like investigating like this nerve gas that was stolen, and he decided to go and find out what happened with it. And he is captured by the syndicate, and he's placed like in this torture chamber, because at the start of it he's like gassed inside this chamber thing, and you think that they killed him, but of course they won't kill Ethan Hunt, but he turns out that he survives, and he finds out that the syndicate was for real. And this when he meets this member, one of the people, like one of the villains of the syndicate, known as the Bone Doctor. And then from there on, like all. So eventually, Ethan Hunt, he escapes like the torture chamber that they had placed him in, and he escapes with the help of Ilsa Falls, who is played by Rebecca Ferguson. And like I mentioned before, she's like a syndicate operative, so she's kind of on both sides, basically. But she turns out to be not the spoiler, like actually like the heroine too of the film. She's like on the good side with like Ethan Hunt. Now you also have Simon Pegg. He also returns in the role of Benji Dunn. He also returns in this film as well. And he's kind of funny and cool. I'm kind of familiar with him from like other films too as well. Mainly, I guess you could say the Mission Impossible. I think he came into the series on the third one, and he was also in Ghost Protocol too. So he actually returns too as Benji Dunn. But now you have Alec Baldwin in the film too, as well as the character known as Alan Hunley. He's also in this film as well too. And then you have like the villain of the film, which is I think it's Solomon Lane, if I'm not mistaken, who is played by Sean Harris. He turns out to be the I think the villain. Yeah, the Solomon Lane like antagonist. He turns out to be like the villain of the film, you know. And I thought he was kind of cool, you know. He's kind of interesting, you know, because at times he's like he has dealings with like Ilsa and stuff and other like people in the film too as well. But I thought he was kind of decent as a villain. He was kind of interesting. I kind of liked his appearance, you know. He looked kind of like bold, you know. And at the same time, kind of on the soft side, but he wasn't really soft at all. You know, you couldn't really like, you know, couldn't do anything against him, you know, because he'll kill you or something like that. But I thought I thought this film was fun. It had like some entertaining like set pieces, like action scenes, like with the I actually like to open the intro scene where like Tom Cruise is like on the airplane that you see like in the trailers where he's hanging from the airplane and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of like a fun scene, you know. It was kind of cool. It wasn't really that long, but I thought it was kind of cool. Like when he's hanging on the plane, then he had to beg the guy to open the door. When he opened the door, he flew inside the plane. I was like, whoa, that was kind of, I was like, wow, you know. There was like another scene with the where he's like on a motorcycle. I thought that was a fun scene too, where he's actually like on a motorcycle and he's chasing after the villains basically at that point. But I also like the scene where he has to go into like this like underwater like site. Yeah, because some of that the fun action sequences involve like a scene with like Ethan Hunt having to infiltrate underwater like a server which is beneath a power station, and he has to infiltrate this power station which is under the water and insert these like two key cards that he has, you know, in order for Benji to be able to like hack into like some system. You know, he has to do this just so Benji can hack into the system, because at the same time Benji, he has to like walk through like the top of the building, like the headquarters of like this, well, the facility that's basically on top of the underwater power station. He has to infiltrate that because it's like a cool scene. He has to go through like the electronic sliding doors using like certain like keys and stuff, because only that person who had them particular keys can go through that. Yeah, at the same time, he's actually disguised too, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly. Because, you know, just like in the previous Mission Impossible films, they have to wear like the skin latex faces, you know, where they like look like other people. That they do that on this one too as well. But yeah, like Ethan Hunt has to infiltrate and using these two key cards under the water, you know. But at the same time, which makes the scene like thrilling and cool, is he has to actually hold his breath for like 3 minutes. So because he can't take any kind of like scuba gear or anything, like any kind of like breath thing, you know, like, you know, he can't take none of that inside the underwater server, because it will like any kind of metal device will like make the alarm systems go off and they'll know that something is wrong in the underwater power station. So he actually has to hold his breath under the water. So I thought that was like a cool and then, you know, intense scene, you know, because you're like, whoa, you know, and he actually does even run out of breath at one point. But then Rebecca Ferguson, well, Elsa, she comes and save him, you know, right as he like passes out under the water because he couldn't hold his breath any longer. So she actually comes by and picks him up and takes him out of the water. I thought that was a cool scene, you know. That had to be one of the most exciting scenes in the film, you know. Plus, like the motorcycle scene where he's like riding like the motorcycle scene and he's chasing after the like the villains or whatever. I thought that was like a fun scene too. It was actually better than the scene with him inside the car, you know. And other sequences too, like they had on there, I thought were kind of like fun too as well, you know. But I remember enjoying that a lot though. But yeah, I thought this was like another good installment in the Mission Impossible film series. You know, it's nice to see Tom Cruise again as Ethan Hunt, and you have Ving Rhames again as Luther, and then you have what was his name as Benji Dunn. You have Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn. You have Rebecca Ferguson as like the new heroine of the film. Then you have Jeremy Renner, he returns too as well. And you have Alec Baldwin, I think for the first time in the Mission Impossible series. He's also in this film too as well. And it's directed by Christopher McQuarrie, like I mentioned before, who also directed Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher, which I thought was a good film as well too. But yeah, I would recommend this for Mission Impossible fans, you know, or like Tom Cruise fans, you know. So this is my review for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. The only problem I have with the film is kind of when it gets kind of towards the end of it, it kind of started like lagging or whatever, and it wasn't really too enjoyable at that point. But other than that, it's like nicely paced. The action scenes were set up pretty well, you know. Like when it's not action going on, like the little espionage scenes or like spy type scenes, they're like fun and cool, you know. But once it got towards the end of it, that's when it kind of like slowed down. It got kind of, you know, like it wasn't too. I didn't really enjoy the ending too well, you know. But I thought it was a decent film, and I would recommend it. You know, I thought it was a good Mission Impossible film. So yeah, this is JDS 4696, and this is my review for Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and this is the 5th film in the Mission Impossible film series.